Hi, everyone. It's great to see you at AAU today. My name is Eva Su. I'm the HR associate at NetEase. Here with me are my coworkers, Alex Liang, Jim Stanhope, and Ada Liu. Alex is our producer. He is in charge of one of our game development team. Jim is on user research. He works on game analysis and gamer behavior. Ada is our lead game artist. She can give you feedback on your work portfolio during our meet and greet. Let's watch a video together to learn more about our company.
NetEase was founded in 1997 with email and news services as its initial products, and later established the online game department in 2001. Listed on NASDAQ in 2000, NetEase achieved total revenues of $3.5 billion in 2015 and was selected as the top stock choice of the year by Investors Business Daily, IBD. In January 2016, NetEase Games has produced some of the most popular games in China. The Fantasy Westward Journey and Westward Journey online series on PC and mobile have hugely influenced China's online games market, and their phenomenal long-running performance has awarded them the status of NetEase's flagship games. In January 2016, Fantasy Westward Journey on mobile hit the number 3 place on Worldwide App Annie Index. Lunar Flowers, Battle to the West 2 received numerous accolades and were officially named as the best games of 2015 by Apple's App Store and Google Play in Hong Kong and Taiwan. Moreover, NetEase Games is the exclusive publisher for all Blizzard Entertainment games in mainland China. NetEase Games has published over 100 games on PC and mobile so far. As the top game developer and publisher in China, NetEase Games promises to deliver the best gaming experience to the world.
Hello everyone, nice to meet you guys here. My name is Alex. I would like to introduce more about our NetEase growth from their history and what we are going to do here. What we are doing here in the US office as well. So starting in 2001, NetEase established their PC client development business. And then over the last 30 years, they actually create several very successful MMO free-to-play RPG games along the way. Like EA, Ubisoft here, they are the second biggest Chinese gaming company in China. So what I want to mention here is on 2014, the company actually has a very big reform into the mobile market, because over the 5-6 year, we are seeing the trending of mobile game is becoming more and more popular, and it becomes a much larger market shares in the market here. So what we do here is we try to break down teams into a very small, very mobile development teams instead of the previous client developed big group team AAA titles. And then this is adapt to the mobile nature and help us to quickly to develop new games along the way. So while utilize this, while utilize this new structure, we come out our first successful mobile game into end of 2014. It's called 乱斗西游. It is combined with the ARPG elements in the mobile mechanics inside the game. It quickly became a success in China, and it climbed up to the top of the top grossing and makes NetEase become the top player in the mobile market as well. So along with this structure, more and more popular games has been come out. The Fantasy Westward Journey, 梦幻西游, 大话西游, and 倩女幽魂, The Ghost. And recently, Omyoji is 阴阳师, has been very successful in China. So as you can see, after the mobile game business who comes in, the stock price has been increased a lot. that overall gives the company achieved to another level of successful over this couple years. And yeah, we quickly become the number 3 overall among the world. Yeah, compared to those like Supercell and Tencent. Tencent is the number 1 currently because they have Riot and the other own business as well. So other than our self-development projects, actually NetEase also have a very strong hand on their publishing business. As you can see from the previous email, the videos, we actually the publishers for Blizzard activation, which we publishing Overwatch, World of Warcraft, and the Hearthstones in China. Announcing this year, we're gonna co-opt with the Minecraft developer and launching Minecraft in China as well. So right now we have new games. Usually we also will team up with some like famous IP to enhance our brand and do a much better marketing penetration to explore to a broader audience and better capture the wider audience as well. As you guys know, NetEase is a global business, global company, and since end of 2014, we actually set up our own U.S. branch in the Brisbane, San Francisco. So what we're doing here, we are trying to become a very typical studio. Just make games for a simple saying. So we're trying to build from a concept to an actual game. We try to bring this actual product to the market, to a Western market. So for NetEase office, U.S. office, we're trying to be a gateway of our overseas publishing business. So here, I just want to go through what we usually do in the game development process. As a product team, we usually come up with a game concept first. To verify it, we usually work with the UX development, the user research group, to see if there is any product differentiate that from this current concept, and then we compare with the current competitor, see how is the volume of this market, what's the competition inside that. And then after we verify the concept, we start building a very small group prototyping phase, and then we test it internally. After we verify the prototype, we start inputting more and more resources, for example, art, for example, the other game in animation department, to try to make it as a demo gameplay, and then we test it internally with a bigger group. After that, after we have demo, we'll also sometimes do some like user research, user testing to collect the user's feedback, see if they really like it. And then we keep going to improving the new game development features and make it to a bigger group and bigger test. So other than what we do self-development in-house, we also will, because we have a lot of successful games in China. Usually we also bring games from China and do localize and culturalize here. What we see is not a lot of successful game from the East. It's really success in the West here, because the East player and Western player behavior is so much different. So in order to bring the games here, usually we will do a lot of like mechanic changes. As you can see here, like maybe system balance is different. The learning curve from the Eastern player and Western player is different sometimes. We also do pricing to adjust the economic balance. There was special in-game holiday events in the live op phases after the post-launch as well, so we'll do culturalize. You can see a lot of like our successful game is very like Chinese mythology theme. So in order to bring here, usually we will do with skin. So we will have a new Western story attach with the new themes and new settings, and try to approach to new players that can be fit in the market. So as a internship or work opportunity here, you'll be able to evolve into the different stage of the development. Either it's pre-launch development or post-launch live operation. So I would pass the next section to Jim, and he could give a more instruction for that.
These are some of our games. They're pretty good. You should check them out. That's the beautiful thing about mobile games. As soon as you hear about us, you can go on the App Store and download all of our stuff for free. And if you want to, check those out, that'd be pretty cool. So again, my name is Jim. I'm the user researcher at NetEase Games North America. Thank you so much for attending. And what I'm going to get at, about 18 months ago, is pretty much exactly where you were. Not exactly. I wasn't sitting. That'd be weird. I was in Michigan, if you can't tell by my obnoxious hat. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience, and then also kind of the whole idea of, breaking into the industry. Everybody really wants to do that. That's kind of the goal, right? And as a person who actually, even though I was in your position 18 months ago, I've now hired full-time employees, I've hired interns. Everything that we found and everything that's been told to me is that the biggest predictor of future success is past success. Doesn't matter if you can say oh, I can totally do that. If you don't have any proof that you've actually done that. That's why it's great. I look over in this class, it looks like you guys are doing stuff. That's awesome. Keep doing that forever and never stop. So again, and that's what's beautiful about game development, is that for other, perhaps if you're in medicine or whatnot, it's very difficult to show oh, okay, and I've operated on somebody in the past. It's well, in game development, you can go out right now, and with the amazing tools, and oftentimes free tools, Unity and such, you can have proof that you can actually do the work. And so that's what I would really tell all of you to really get kind of on. The goal should be to reduce the uncertainty as to your capabilities. You come in and you're going to say, again, oh, I totally can do that. Well, again, can you make it for somebody that's going to be hiring you for an internship or a full-time position? If they can be absolutely certain that you can do the work, then again, it's just a much easier decision for them, right? And so that's what I would really push on. So in that regard, and again, looking at this, again, we were talking about working with the project that you're working on right now, is, to get involved with real development with real stakes. Again, doing student projects and classes, again, that's very important. That's going to provide your basis. But the goal should be to go out and kind of do your own thing, to kind of pursue your own path. Go find somebody, go bang down a door and find, some local dev that might be looking, to be the next big indie hit, and say, hey, I will totally do all of your art for you. Or I will go to Starbucks. I used to do this. I would go to Starbucks and I would buy people coffee if they would test people's games for $5. That's what I did. It was really weird. But you kind of learn a lot just kind of going up and talking to people randomly at Starbucks. And then obviously also, in addition to your domain skills, so if you're an artist, obviously you should be able to make great art. If you're a researcher, obviously you should be really, really good at attaching electrodes to people's brains and then figuring out whether or not they're having fun. But I think it's also very important to understand the development process. Again, cross-functional team here, I think, at least hypothetically, that's what it looks like, is that if you are an artist, you should be able to talk to a researcher and talk psychology to me or whatever, even a little bit, or you're going to have to deal with a marketing department. And they're going to be why aren't the numbers good? Why is there money? How do we sell this to people? And you at least need to be able to kind of, again, speak their language. And so that's very important. So again, aim to speak the language of other disciplines. Again, you don't have to be able to do their job, but you kind of have to understand where they're coming from, because again, this is all one big party. We all kind of do our, each piece of it, in game development. So again, you're going to have to deal with those people as well. So that's important. So again, the question is going to be determine what makes you unique as a potential intern or employee. What makes you kick ass? What are you really good at? And why, what can you pitch to that company or that project as to I've spoken to people. I've got friends who worked at Riot. So again, researcher, and this one guy was I really, really like doing eye tracking. If you're familiar with eye tracking, basically you just kind of sees you can kind of track where people's eyes are looking at on the screen. And he basically went to Riot and was would you like me to do this for you? And they're yeah, that sounds great. Here, have a job, right? And so that's, again, kind of a unique circumstance, but again, that's the kind of stuff that can happen, is if you can get really, really good at something, you can kind of find, companies will find a place for you. And that's where, again, you kind of want to think about what kind of company you'd like to work for. It's very important. So very, very large companies, have a tendency to look for this second bullet point, that laser-focused expert, that person who's like really, really good at like one or two things, right? You're really, really great animator, or you're really kick-ass at like tracking where people's eyes go on a screen. Because again, they have enough money and they have enough people to kind of get very focused. For a company, so it's kind of interesting in our company where, again, in China, we're kind of a little bit more that way. Because again, we've got about 12,000 employees. Locally, we have about 40. So what we're looking for is those Swiss Army knife people. You don't have to be super, super good at everything, but by God, you should be able to do like pretty much anything. So it's actually, so if you kind of look at yourself and you say, hey, I want to be a generalist, then again, you're probably going to be more useful to a smaller company. If you're like, hey, I really, really love this like one exact thing, then you're probably going to be more useful again to that larger company. And then honestly, over time, even if you are a generalist, hopefully you find that one thing that you love, and then you have the opportunity to go wherever the heck you want because you can become super great at one thing. So yeah, I never had a formal internship or anything before I broke into the game industry. I made my own internship. I bugged some people from EA that were at a recruiting visit, and I said, hey, do you have any projects that I can work on? I will work for free. And they're like, no, we'll do it, sign up for the internship. I'm like, no, like I don't, like now. Like that's like in the summer. I'm like, now, we're going to do it now, and you're going to go back, and you're going to find stuff for me to do. And that worked out really great. And I actually worked with EA on several projects. The projects ended up being horribly, horribly canceled. But hey, it's still reality, and it's still real experience. So again, find ways to get involved. Game dev subreddit. People are going to be on there all the time, posting things. And you can just go on there, and I've seen people that have done that. Specifically, they say, hey, I will do, art for your project. I will do user testing for your project, and you'll get bombed with like 6, 8, 10, 12 people. So you're like, yes, please, God, I can pay you like $5. But again, that's always going to be the thing, is how bad do you want it? Meetups, again, that's what's amazing. Again, I envy all of you for being like down the street from like freaking Moscone Center. And we were talking about that. If you go on Game Dev Map, there's like 200 game development studios here. If you walk down the street, you'll just like trip on a game developer, and then they maybe drop a job, and like you can get it. It'll be great. I hope for that. That's why I came here initially. I thought that maybe they'll just drop a job. I think that's how it works. GDC is amazing. If you're not already going to GDC, go there. The student day is super awesome. Even for just going and like talking to other people and be like, that person works at this company. He seems kind of average. Oh my God, could I possibly get that job? And that was like my experience. That was why it was actually really great at GDC. And then of course you also meet the people that are incredibly talented as well. Startup accelerators, again, the same thing. Find people that are doing things, see if they need your help, things like that. Student projects, recruiting visits. Here you go, you're here, great job. I went to recruiting visits for studios at universities I did not attend. So I don't know if that's kosher. I did that, so maybe you can try it out as well. And to get to my last point, again, I think it's very, very important. Again, as a former teacher, again, I can't help but kind of get in the education stuff here, is that you really want to kind of fill out your toolkit. Again, we live in the world where you can pretty much learn anything at the drop of a hat. So keep kicking ass at what you're doing, but then also like go online. Go onto edX, go onto Udemy, go onto things, and honestly, you can pretty much just maybe look at the first couple lessons of like a neuroscience class or a marketing class or a behavioral neuroscience class, and you can pretty much at least fake to me that you know what the hell is going on. That's all you need. You just need to know enough to be dangerous to yourself and others, but to make it sound like again, that you can kind of speak our language. That's very important. And maybe it's something that you'll find that to be really, really interesting to you. So again, all these options are open to you. And then again, the big thing is, how do you get seen as well with all of this? Again, the internet is a beautiful thing. So again, if you're a researcher or something, go do some research, post it on a Medium, and there you go. And that's basically then your portfolio. I know people, again, that have hired people and they basically didn't even have to interview them. They had like a full blog for the last 2 years of all the things that they had done. Again, art, same thing. I don't know all the hip places to put those because I'm kind of lame. You can talk to Aid about that maybe. But again, do something, put it out there, and you can just show the world how much you kick ass. Like that should be your goal. So yeah, and again, of course, make new friends. You never know when that next person you shake hands with, especially around here. I swear to God, like when this person's like, oh yeah, we got this company, a startup. You want a job? Sweet. You never know, right? So every single person, you meet is a new opportunity to, kind of live the dream. So cool. I will pass it on to whoever is next. I think it's Eva. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's on.
Okay, thanks. So who are we looking for at NetEase? Passionate gamers, we want someone who truly enjoy play video games. If you are the type of person, the very first thing you do after waking up in the morning is to take out your cell phone and play some video games. And you will play several times during the day. And before going to bed, you might be the person we are looking for. Imagination and insight. NetEase values creativity. We really encourage you as students to think about what makes you unique. We would love to see you bring something new to the table. Personality, responsibility, and ownership. We want you to be hands-on in game development from concept to shipping. Cooperation and collaboration. We want team players. We need someone who can communicate and work well with other team members. Because, at the end of the day, no matter how smart, how talented you are, it takes a team to create a successful game. Okay. And, there are so many internship programs out there. Why do you want to work with us? Why do you want to join NetEase? Because we offer real experience with pay from the very first day of your internship. From the very first day of your internship, you are embedded with the game development team. So you will have real and hands-on experience. And we are a global company with a spirit of startup. So now you know that NetEase is actually a very well-established company in China. So we have resources from our parent company, but we operate like a startup in our US office, which means you will have flexibility in the projects you work on. And if you are really good at your job, you can make a great impact. And last but not least, you'll be able to learn game culture from both sides of the Pacific. So we have team members transfer from our China office, and our US team members go to our headquarters from time to time. So it's a very diverse, game development culture environment. So I think you will definitely, learn a lot from this experience, your internship. Let's take a look at our job application process and the openings for 2017. So if after hearing our presentation, you are interested in applying an internship with us, here's what you will do. You will submit your resume on our website. We would like to see you include a cover letter so we can know a little more about you. And for all the artist position, please include your portfolio so we can better evaluate if you are a good fit. So after receiving your application, the hiring manager and we HR team will review. If we find you a great match for our company, we will schedule a phone interview with you, and possibly followed by an on-site. If everything goes well, we will be extending the offer to you. So the time frame from the phone interview to making an offer is anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks. Our summer internship for this year starts on June 1st, and fall internship is on September 1st. So the list for the 2017 opening for internship, we are looking for 3D artist, graphic designer, game engineer, user researcher, and video producer editor. We have 2 full-time openings, 3D artist and associate game designer. So you can simply go to the website to apply. NetEase theresumator.com, or you can just go to our website, and we included a QR code in the lower right corner. You can scan the code. It will take you directly to our career page as well. So this concludes our presentation, and we will do the Q&A now.
Thank you. I have a question first. How many students want to apply for the art job? How many students want to apply the UX job? How many of you want to apply a game design job? Okay. You can just ask questions. Is there another mic?
I can bring the mic around to anyone who wants to ask a question. So if you have a question, just raise your hand and I'll bring the mic over. Oh, perfect.
So what do you look? Oh, okay. So what do you look for in a portfolio?
What do you want to apply?
As a 3D artist.
Right now we have 3D generalist opening, and you can check our website regularly because we will have new opening in the future. And our internship program is semester based. And for a 3D artist, I suggest first of all you need to know what you want to do in the future. For example, I was an art student and I attended School of Visual Arts. I learned a lot of technical art, concept art, and I didn't know what I want to do in the future. I even did a motion graphics internship, and it's too many knowledge. You need to decide ahead what you want to do in the future. If you want to do a 3D generalist, you need to focus your portfolio on 3D stuff. Eliminate all the other stuff. Ask your friends, ask your teacher, give you a feedback about your portfolio, and just remove all the mediocre job. And I think in 3D position is super competitive. For example, in last year, we have a 3D full-time opening. We have over 200 applicants, and we only need one artist. So make sure your portfolio is extremely well. And second, do as many internships as possible, because if you never work in the industry, you already have disadvantage. So many people worked in the industry for so many years, and they are competitive with in the competition with you. So make sure do internship, no matter it's paid or unpaid. And for portfolio, I can do a portfolio review for you later.
Okay, thank you.
I think also, again, generally, is that understanding, again, the position that you're applying to. So, again, is if you have the opportunity to reach out to figure out, again, like what are their needs. So you might have, things, again, whether it's a UX portfolio or an art portfolio or whatever. If you understand what their needs are, you might have like things that you might want to put in, right, for that position that you might maybe, again, like kind of like Ada said, you might take out for another position, right? So, again, I know that there's often I'm not saying not do it, but like there's this idea of just like kind of bombing out hundreds and hundreds of applications. But for the jobs like you really, really want, I think it really benefits you to like do the research, figure out what they actually want, and then you can like specifically target your application and then like your portfolio like towards those things as well.
I think one simple method to prepare your portfolio is check out who is working in that company and check out the specific artists who working over there, and make sure your portfolio is almost as good as theirs portfolio. And that's the most simplest way I felt.
Thank you. Is there a question over here? Okay, perfect.
Hey, how would you guys describe the corporate culture at NetEase?
Corporate culture. Okay.
So I think the big thing for us is that it's, so I can give you again a story, for example. Basically, I pretty much came in on the first day, showed up, and it was pretty much like, hey, what's happening? Here's all the stuff, here's your laptop, do your job, please. Pretty much is that, again, with the whole idea of the startup, is that you have a lot of responsibilities. but it's because it's kind of like a default to trust thing. Is that when you're brought in, the idea is like, hey, we hired you, we think you're kick ass. Again, like, please feel free to kick ass for us. And so I don't know if that. Again, we don't have like I know a lot of companies will say it will be like, we have Pancake Tuesdays. We don't like. I mean, we have stuff. We hang out. We do things like that. That's not what I'm gonna like. So we don't hang our hat on like that kind of culture, which is I think a lot of times false. So again, we do a lot of fun stuff and things like that, but that's not how we pitch. Is the idea is you come in and you can make an impact immediately. Because even if you're an intern, like I've had interns, and again, it was a very similar thing. It's like, hey, what's happening? And the big thing also that's cool is that you're kind of able to make your own way. Is that there's a lot of fires that need putting out. There's a lot of cool projects to work on. If you can kind of like, again, make your own kind of path if you want to. And again, that's kind of the thing is it's like freedom. And again, like the whole, again, I think default to trust is it's like, hey, we brought you in, let's make it happen. You say this, big thing again is also for us is like we really when someone's got a great idea, we really want that idea to be validated though. You can't just be like, hey, I was in the shower and I had an idea. It's the idea is we want to show that that you've kind of done your research, that you can kind of like again make that good argument. If that kind of answers that. But yeah, we don't have like Tiki Wednesdays or anything like that. But we do have like food and stuff. It's pretty great.
And another thing I want to add is, in general, be nice to your peers, to your coworkers, because look at each other. Maybe in 10 years, your peers will be art directors in the giant company, and probably they will give you the job. So be nice to everybody. Like, for example, my peers, some of them are senior artists in MPC, AOM, and you never know who will be doing better. So be nice to everybody. If you have chance to help each other. And
okay. So one thing I also want to mention is don't undervalue yourself. I think we are doing games, but our target audience is actually you guys, like young people, energy. Like you are the next generation and driving the whole society moving forward. So we value your idea most of the time because you guys should know what you need and what the people around you needs. Yeah.
culture.
I think from our U.S. office, it's a very startup feel, and just keep in mind NetEase is an established company in China, so definitely we will have process to follow. Just like if you are working at Google or Apple, I assume there will be red tape when you move on process to process. But the good thing is that we have the advantage of both worlds. So we have resources, but we have flexibility. Anyone else? Okay.
So I would like to add some detail about the internship. So is there what kind of experience we will gain from the internship in NetEase? And do we have actually a new project we can work on, or we're just working on a currently object you guys have?
So it's depending on the team you are applying for. So different teams working on different projects. And since this is an internship, we don't really require, experience-wise, because it's college level. So you are learning. It's a learning experience for you and for us to take, mentorship as well. So if you would like to apply, you can just apply. And then can I please know which team you are thinking about applying for the internship?
I'm a game designer, so I'm thinking about maybe I can do design.
Alex will be the perfect.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can just be more detailed for as we mentioned. We already have like 6 live game in our office already. Keep running right now. I think we are mostly active supporting 2 in market game, which is MMO free to play, Tomb of Sun and Eternal Arena. We also have 2 in development games, but I cannot show you a lot of details here. But I think right now it depends on your skill set and what's your preference most of the time, and we kind of like try to adapt for your needs and trying to assign you with the work that you want to learn over time. Yeah, that's all for your question.
One word is like what's the specific skills you guys are looking for as a game designer?
As I said before, like what we are trying to look for is people who have the update trending of what he really needs from the player perspective as a game designer usually, and I would say documentary skill because how do you interpret your idea into a real development work is what we are looking for most of the time. What we see a lot of entry-level game designer, they have a very good idea, creative, but sometimes it have very difficult for them to make it a very holistic description document to help the engineer or the other party cross-function team to understand their needs. Yeah.
That's all my questions. Thanks.
Okay.
I want to talk more about the advantage of working in NetEase as an intern. Working in NetEase as an art intern have larger chance to transfer to full-time, and we barely lay off people. We value great artists. We think great people make great things. So once you finish this project, we will let you to move on to other project, and you can always keep fresh. You can jump on project. We have 2 games under development. So unlike console game, you need to jam in the same project for 3 or 4 years. You can move on from project to project and keep your eye fresh, which is very interesting for artists. And for 3D intern, we're working on the prototypes, which requires you to do 3D modeling and idea generation pretty fast.
Hello everyone. I'm Fino. So my direction is about concept game concept art. So based on what I looked there's no such kind of position, but I'm still wondering if you have such kind of opportunities. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
I'm a concept artist, and right now we don't have opening, but keep checking our website. We will post there instantly once we have the opening. And I want to mention another industry insight. Because a company, if they don't have enough applicants, they will post on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
If they already have enough applicants, they will not post on LinkedIn. So check their website directly.
Okay, I see. So can I ask another question?
Mm-hmm.
So do you think if the people who try to apply the internship or jobs, they're just good enough, would you just supply some chance or create some chance to make them just work in there?
I think first you need to know what is your advantage, whether you want to do character art or environment art, sure, or you can do both. But first of all, you need to have very strong fundamental. Mm-hmm. And especially for concept artists, it's extremely hard to find a job. For example, Tomb Raider, they only have 2 concept artists. Yeah. And for console game in general, they have less than 5 concept artists. Mm-hmm. So make sure your portfolio is extremely strong. And second, know people. Sometimes, especially concept art, they didn't post online, but the position already filled up because internal referral. For example, I referred several artists to our team. Okay. So knowing people also very important. And I think third, do as much as internship as you can, mm-hmm, and have more experience. Because a lot of things you need to learn from work. For example, how to communicate with game designers, how to communicate with UX person, and how to take direction from director. These are not the things you can learn from school. Sure. So this is very important too.
Okay, thank you.
One thing to add. So from the HR team side, mm-hmm, there are openings that we haven't released, but we are more than welcome for you just to send your resume and your portfolio. We'll have it on file. Okay. And so if we have the openings, we'll definitely contact you.
Okay, thank you.
For sure.
Yeah, so we actually have an online student who asked a really great question, and I think this is probably directed more toward Jim and Eva. So she's asking, if we're doing research into a company that a student is interested in, is it appropriate to contact employees or the company directly to ask more specifics in terms of kind of researching how to customize portfolios? Because she's kind of pointing out that obviously one can only do so much research, and there may be questions that can't be addressed just through kind of looking online.
I think I'll let Eva give like the party line example, because again, I did some real strange things, so.
So from our company standpoint, will be best that you can contact us directly if you are interested in working with us. However, we don't have a policy that you cannot contact our team members directly via LinkedIn. So feel free to do so. Yes.
Thank you.
Cool. So yeah, that's all cool apparently. Yeah. So like that's very similar to a lot of the things that I did. Is that stalk people on LinkedIn. Just do it. Everybody does it. Don't pretend you don't. Again, is like I moved out to LA on a whim after I got laid off as a high school teacher, and I basically shook hands. Like I basically like walked to some of the studios. Like I basically like walked to Riot, and I was like, hey, hello, how are you? And then you basically figure out who that person is, and then you stalk them on LinkedIn, and then eventually you find somebody that does stuff that you think is cool, and then I literally at that point looked them up on LinkedIn. I saw a bunch of the people that did a bunch of stuff that I thought was cool, and it turned out that they had a certain degree, and so that's why I did that. So yeah, reach out to people. Oftentimes people are very busy. Some people, might be more open to it than others to answering these kind of random emails. But again, I think that just the big thing is, especially, again, like it doesn't hurt to try. Especially if they're in the area, like be like, hey, do you want to meet for coffee? Do you want to, get some lunch? I will, try to maybe you can sneak in a studio tour there, perhaps. Again, yeah, it's just do whatever it takes. And again, because very few companies have like, I think like that I've seen have rules against like cold calling employees for information. Do your research, I guess.
One thing I want to mention is I think it's totally fine to connect with and get more information about a company. For internship programs, usually when we interview with the internship candidates, we don't expect you guys understand our business or like background so much, especially when we are very new to the US. But if you have so much background information, or we see you understand the industry so well and have some inside thoughts that you have, it's always a plus for us to consider you, because we see you are already inside, like speaking our language, as you say. Yeah.
And another suggestion is, try to catch the opportunity by yourself, looking for the opportunity. For me, when I was a student, I just bought a Blue Sky art book, and I just go through all the nice paintings I like, and find them on Facebook, and message the artist over there and ask for suggestions. We have independent study class. We can looking for instructors. So I just found Aiden Sugano and Taylor Carter, who working in Blue Sky, and gave me feedback on my portfolio, and I value their opinions so much. I just tweak my portfolio based on their feedback. A lot of opportunities you need to catch by yourself. Don't wait.
So, in your new American studio, how would you say that the games that are being created from there are different from the games that you've been creating in China?
So I think first, people do things, right? Product is made by people. So we really value the local talents. We try to set up a U.S. office here because we try to acquire talents here, and we try to make the game based on the U.S. customers' needs rather than, because a lot of Chinese developed game is actually primary focused on the Chinese market, and that's the difference compared to what we have been doing in China, and also. With the success formula in China, we can always leverage a lot of resources and a lot of game design idea that has been proven in the Chinese market, and we can always test it here. It's more like a shortcut, like sometimes. Mm-hmm.
I think another big thing again is it's with the reality of the situation. So again, this is like literally my job in many ways, is like trying to figure out how that, how do we make something that's different, or how do we maybe turn something that was designed for a certain audience into another audience. So I mean, for example, the big issue is that like in China, a lot of people are in terms of like their internet devices are mobile only, and so those games they're still looking for oftentimes like a console or PC level experience, however, on their mobile device. And in many ways, our games are then designed to kind of offer those experiences, whereas because of, again, like the massive amount of adoption that we've seen for internet technology in China in even the last 4 years, whereas in the United States, many people who are buying a smartphone already have a console. They already have a PC. And so in many ways, we can't compete, with that level of graphical fidelity, things like that. And so again, games that are like top in China oftentimes look a lot like console games because a lot of people are playing them like console games. Whereas in the West, in the United States, people that are playing their PC games, they're playing them on the PC. And so again, you'll see games that are very mobile native, so like Clash Royale on the PC would make $0. But on the mobile phone where you can take it wherever and you can like play it while you're on the train or while you're doing your business, again, that's the other big thing that we found is like there's that whole joke where like 80% of all mobile game high scores are done in the restroom. That's basically true. Again, not to bore you too much about that, but that's the big thing is that people literally are looking for different experiences in the United States versus like China, and they're playing games in different ways.
Because of that, are you considering, so this is just my curiosity, because of that, are you considering moving to PC or to consoles in America since we have those venues?
I mean, that's like a strategy thing. I mean, I don't know. We do still make PC games, and we still do publish PC games in China, so I don't know. But again, I guess you could Alex could better answer that question.
Yes. Definitely. I think we're doing a transition from, rather than a transition, I think it's more like the expansion. As NetEase, I think they never give up on the PC client side. They didn't get into the console, but the PC client, we are still keep developing it. It's still under development. In China right now, there was a very AAA title. It's under development, and we are definitely trying to target it, the overseas market on this client basis. I just want to try and see, if this is also work out in both way. Right? Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hi there. Thank you. My name is Joe. I come from China because I know that the game in China is like more providing a service. So in America, like the game is like the company is more focusing on provide a game, but in China it's like more focus on the service. So I want to know your company gonna like focus which part of it in here.
I can maybe share some thoughts first. As I know, when I compare the other competitors in our industry with NetEase, I think along with China or like in the US here, I think NetEase is more like the game developer studio. So we are very product-centric organization. So what we are focused is usually we're trying to make a game rather than like the team is so much focused on trying to make improve game feature. I would say like NetEase is 80% like developer and game product people inside. So that's why like rather than a lot of like marketing promotion or like customer service, like as you interpret. So I think this is very adapt to the U.S. atmosphere, as you say, like very product-centric, very product-driven company. We try to make the best game out of it. We try to dig into perfection. That's enough.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.